morning, guys. I hope this video finds everybody well. I hope you're staying safe and healthy and not going out and all those different things. And I know this is a very difficult time being that we're not in school, and I know you guys probably have 1,000 questions, and I'm going to try to do my best to answer everybody's questions, so I figured I'd make a video. We did go over some of this in class, but there was some time in between and you guys might have forgotten, but I'm going to make this little video just to clear up as many questions as I possibly can and help you with this remote learning. All right, so when you're on Google Classroom, right here, the Major Multi-Photography Project, when you click on that, it's going to open up these two different things. You want to click on the Major Multi-Photography Project list right here. Once you click on that, it brings you to this. At the very, very top, this is a link to the actual folder where all the work is. Right? So in this folder, there are different, for the most part, Google Slide presentations for each and every single project that's on that list. So for example, we did go over, we did go over macro already. So this is one you guys have known about, you've been taking pictures for. Let's say, for example, you wanted to do interesting angles, because this is a project where no Photoshop is needed, and being that most of you don't have Photoshop at home, I'm telling you in the directions, and let me just go back to those for one moment. Everything that you need here to be answered, all questions should really be here. These are all the different projects that you have the option of choosing. Okay, say for example, go back to macro. You wanted to use 3 macro pictures because that's the max amount of pictures you can take for this project. Each one is going to be worth 5 points. So if you have 3 pictures at 5 points, that is going to equal 15 points. Now, say for example, you don't change the name of the picture. Say for example, you leave it named after whatever your camera names it, image 1502. Okay. I'm not going to know which project that is. It could be macro, it could be abstract. So please make sure that you name your project. Now a little bit further down, I'm going to skip all these for a moment. A little bit further down, I give you instructions on certain things. So using the checklist above, keep track of the different projects that you're working with. The projects that have the single asterisk next to it. Okay. Those are pictures that there's no Photoshop involved. And since, like I said, most of you don't have Photoshop, these are just straight up photographs. There's no changing anything about them. There's no adjusting anything or trickery. Projects that have the double asterisk deal with images, more than one image. They're called series. So for example, photo 365. This is a project that deals with 40 images. That's why it's worth more points. So this project deals with a whole bunch of pictures, and I'm working on a way for you guys to, if you wish to do this project, this is not a project that's done in a day. It's a project that takes more than one day, takes some time. You would compile those pictures, put them into a folder. You should be able to hand in or submit that folder of yours into Google Classroom, but we're going to work on that. I'm going to try to work with one of you guys who wants to do this project to see if that works, if you can hand in a folder rather than a single work. I'd rather do that because then I can see each individual image more clearly than if you were to put all of your images into a Google document. All right, a little bit further down. Okay, you're the photographer, you're taking all the pictures that you're using. So if you're doing a self-portrait, that means you're taking the picture of yourself. Somebody else is not taking it of you. You are the photograph, you take the pictures. Make sure the images are renamed after the project. So I gave a little example down here. Okay, do rename your images after the project. To rename, simply just right-click on the image, click on the word rename, and then you'll type in what the name is. So for example, there's a picture of my nephew. It's a portrait. So I titled it Portrait 1. The reason I titled it Portrait 1 is you can have up to 3 of those projects. I'm just going to scroll back up and hopefully not get anybody dizzy. All right, so right up here, Portrait Stunning. All right, I can have up to 3 of those pictures. So that is just one picture. And I want to vary the other ones up. I don't want to use 2 pictures that are almost exactly alike. You want to have very different pictures. You know what, while I'm on this one, we'll stay here. So say, for example, I have 3 pictures, 3 portraits. That's 15 points right there, because it's 5 points each. Say if I didn't name each of those pictures. Now, obviously, me looking at it, I can tell it's a portrait because it's of a person. If you didn't name it and it's named image 372, I'm going to take off a point for each one. So if all 3 images are named after whatever the camera names it, you lose 3 points. That's how you can lose points. I'm not taking off points for height, width, resolution, or saving it under a different file format. If your picture's saved as a JPEG in your phone, keep it that way. All right. Submit work via Google Classroom for the deadline desired. And I'm going to go over that in a moment. But you guys have been submitting your work through Google Classroom for this class since the beginning. Deadline 1 is going to be this Friday. Deadline 1 is worth 25 points. So that means you're taking pictures for 25 points. So up top, going back up. All right, say for example, you did this one correctly and you got 15. So say if you did 3 portraits and 3 macro. Well, add that up. That's 30 points right there, which is 5 more than what deadline 1 is. So that's 6 pictures worth 30 points. This deadline is worth 25. Now I show down here, deadline 1 is worth 25 points. Hand that in, that's an A. Now you might ask, why not an A+? Well, remember, A+ is going above and beyond. If you end up handing in 30 points for deadline 1, that will equal an A+. And I will write this in here after I finish this video. Deadline 2 is the same way. Deadline 2 is 25 points, and that's going to be due April 3rd. So that's same thing, another 25 points. So if you do another 6 pictures and they're 5 point each, that's another 30 points. So handing deadline 1 and 2 in with more than the minimum points is going to give you A+. Keep that in mind. One other thing I want to go over is, let me just minimize this for a second. Here's my beautiful laptop. My suggestion is on your desktop or computer, whatever device you're using, if you were to create a folder on your desktop, new folder, oh, mine moved it over here, and it's not going to let me move it. Okay, it doesn't want to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename my folder MMPP. I know that might be a little hard to see, but I named it after the project. And it scooted right up to the top so you can see the name, but not the folder. I'm opening the folder. I'm creating a new folder. I'm titling this Deadline 1. So say, for example, I have my 3 macro pictures and I have my 3 portrait pictures. I want those to be handed in for this deadline. I'm going to put those images into this folder. Say I have extra pictures. Okay, I have extra portraits. It does not mean that for deadline 2, I can hand in more portraits. It's max for the project entirely. So if I handed in 3 macro pictures in deadline 1, I cannot hand in 3 macro pictures for any other deadline. My suggestion is create a folder titled MMPP after the project. Inside of there, create more folders, one for each deadline. This is how you can keep yourself organized. And you're handing in whatever images that you have in deadline 1 will be handed in Google Classroom for deadline 1. Let me show you. This is your class. Let me go to the class I had earlier in the year. All right, so you see that they have multiple deadlines here. It just so happens that theirs was split between 2 quarters, just like yours is going to be. Deadline 1, I click on, turned in. All right, so you are going to be attaching multiple images. Now this is the teacher view of it. You guys get a different view when you're in Google Classroom, but it's the same as when you submitted other work. You're submitting all of your images that you want to submit for deadline 1 at a time. So she submitted a color pop, and this is when she had the access to Photoshop. So she did color pop 1, 2, and 3. She did macro 1, 2, and 3. She did panorama 1 and 2. Panoramas are larger sizes, so I end up having to download them, but they are there. So if you do the math, she has a lot of pictures, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 50, because I think these are 10 each. So 50 points for deadline 1. So she received an A+. All right. Going on to the next person, I see, okay, she handed in, same thing, she handed in multiple pictures. The more pictures you have for the deadline, the more points you get. Right. In the very, very end, all of those points for each and every single deadline will add up to your grand total. If you were to do the bare minimum, which is 25, 25, 30, 40, 50, okay, that adds up to 170. That pointage is only going to equal, in the grand scheme of things, a C-. It behooves you guys to hand in more points than what is needed for the deadlines. That's how you build up points and you build up your grade. Now, as I said, all the projects that have the single asterisk are photos, are just single straight photos. There's no Photoshop involved, because I know, once again, not everybody has Photoshop, and I'm working to get that for you guys. Ones that have double asterisk, there's a series, which means there's more than one. Ones that have nothing, like mapping a texture, motion blur, multiple scene, those are projects that heavily rely on Photoshop and layers. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm trying to get you that. You don't have it now, but I'm trying to get you that, and hopefully it's sooner rather than later. And also, I am working on a way to have you guys hand in those multiple images for a single project at one time, because you can't create a contact sheet without Photoshop. But I will get back to you guys on that as soon as possible. So I hope this has helped. I think I answered a bunch of questions that you guys might have, but if you have any more, then please email me, ask in the ask in the forum, here, because somebody else might have the same exact question, and I'm going to do my best to answer it. Okay, guys. Like I said, I hope everyone's doing well. Please ask questions if you have any. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy. Good night. Be safe and healthy. I'll talk to you soon.